Bible readers, God bless you. This is David Badijo, lead creator of Red Bible Plans. Today, we are going to be discussing day 3 of Waymaker, the book of Exodus. And we're going to be taking a look at the first Waymaker moment, which is Moses being called from the burning bush. We're going to be focusing on Moses specifically and how he responds to God, and see if there are some things that we can pick up in terms of our spiritual application and really trying to understand how God works with humanity. First, I want to start off by saying that I believe everyone is given burning bush moments in their lives. A burning bush moment is a very unique method of communication. It's a type of communication that God gives to mankind, but it's not frequent. Burning bush moments don't happen every day, but they do happen. And we need to be aware of when a burning bush moment is happening, when God is communicating in a very unique fashion, and really heed to that moment and make sure that we're being obedient and doing what God tells us. I'm sure if we can look past us, if we look in your past, you can identify very specific moments that have really marked your life and given you a great sense of divine purpose and divine awareness that God is calling us, that God is working with us and asking of us something. With that being said, let's look at how Moses responds when God calls him from the burning bush to tell him that he needs to send him back to Egypt to then be used by God to be the vessel by which Pharaoh is then commanded and demanded to let the children of Israel go, let them be free from bondage and slavery and onto freedom. So first we're going to look at Exodus chapter 3:11, which is Moses' first response to God when he tells him that he is called from the burning bush. And in verse 3:11, Moses starts off by saying, "Who am I?" Right there. Who am I? Who am I? In other words, what Moses is saying is that, why are you calling me? I am not the most credible person to be doing this. Think about where Moses came from. He is a fugitive. Not only that, even when he was raised among the Egyptians, he was not a real Egyptian. Everyone knew that he was the lost son of a Hebrew mother, and I'm sure he was not necessarily looked great upon in Egypt, maybe less than all the pure Egyptians. And then amongst the Hebrews, he was probably seen as a traitor of some sort. But either way, he was saying, I am not some person of great status that you should be calling me. So that's the first thing. And oftentimes we can be making those same claims. How oftentimes I've spoken to people and I've shared, hey, I think there's purpose in your life. And then the first thing that we begin to hear is that there's this great sense of doubt and lack of confidence in who they are and their ability to be influential. In verse 4, in chapter 4, verse 1, we see the second response from Moses. So first he says, who am I? I'm nobody. And then he says, I am not eloquent of speech. So now God's saying, hey, you're not credible. You're not influential. You're not high, not high on the social ladder. I get it, but I can still use you. Now Moses says, okay, but I can't talk well. I'm not charismatic. I'm not dynamic. I'm not a great speaker. I'm slow of speech. And God says, I can work with that too. Don't worry. I got you. And then after Moses says that, the third thing he says is in chapter 4, verse 13. He says, can you send somebody else? Basically, that's what he says in chapter 4, verse 13, saying, can you send somebody else? You're not convincing me. In spite of all the affirmation that you're giving me, in spite of all the things you're telling me about how you got my back, God, I'm still not your guy. Send somebody else. I'm not really confident in this calling that you have for me. And what's funny is that God is telling Moses, he's being very patient with Moses, and he's saying, I can work with you in spite of all your limitations. There are two ways that God responds to Moses, which is the big takeaway here. The first thing is that Moses says, well, who do I say sends me? And God says, tell them, I am sent you. Now here's the big takeaway. The first thing, Moses responds to God, who am I? And basically saying, I'm not nobody. I'm nobody. But then just in a few verses later, God responds and says, tell them that I am. So Moses says, who am I? God says, I am. In other words, what God is saying is that your purpose in God is not determined about who you are. It's about who He is. It's not about whether you have the capacity to fulfill God's purpose. It's God has the capacity to fulfill His purpose in us. So we need to flip the way we see ourselves in terms of executing kingdom purpose here in life, right? It says not by might, not by power, but by the Spirit of God. In other words, we need to take it off of our status, our ability, our charisma, our gifts, and understand that who God is enough to get any work done by which we are called, because we lean on all of His power. That's why He said, tell them I am, because I am limitless. I am whatever I need to be in order to get the job done. Here's the final piece that I want to share in this video, is that there is a foreshadowing happening here that's going to reveal the heart of humanity. You see, as God was trying to demonstrate His magnificence and His power to get the job done, Moses was still doubting. So after he says, who am I? I can't talk. God says, take the rod up, and He turned the rod into a serpent. Moses still didn't believe. Then God tells Moses, look at your hand. It had leprosy. He had to put it in his bosom, take his hand out, and he was healed. And Moses still didn't believe, in spite of God showing him the signs. It was a foreshadow, exactly what the heart of Pharaoh will be when, in spite of all the signs that God is going to demonstrate, Pharaoh will still be hardened. He still won't believe in the mighty power of God. So here you have a righteous man, so to speak. Moses doesn't believe the signs. How will an unrighteous, wicked man like Pharaoh believe the signs? If God's people don't believe the signs, how will the wicked believe the signs, right? And so it's just about the heart of humanity being revealed, is that unfortunately, we're a people that's always seeking after signs. And oftentimes, when the signs come, we still find ways to doubt. So let's begin to trust God in our waymaker moment. God wants to make a way in our lives. God wants to perform deliverances, miracles. He wants to demonstrate how great He is and how great of a purpose we have in our lives. But we have to receive it and not depend on signs, but trust in who He is. He is the I am. He is whatever He needs to be to get you through into your purpose, into His purpose for your life. And that's Exodus Waymaker, Day 3, called From the Burning Bush. What are you hearing? What are you experiencing as you read chapters 3 and 4 in the book of Exodus? What are some waymaker moments you've had in your life? How has God spoken to you in your life? Drop a comment, like this video, share this video. I'd love to hear how you are experiencing the Waymaker Bible plan, what God is telling you, what are you sensing, and how it's impacting your life. God bless you. Day 3, keep going all the way through day 28 until our next Waymaker moment. I am David Badillo, lead creator of Red Bible Plans, helping everyday people read the Bible every day. God bless you.